right, everyone. We're at 9:30, so I'm here excited to introduce Perry Gee. Perry, would love to hear a little bit about you with what you do with Intermountain first before you share your Be Well moment this morning. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm not sure. Here you go. All right, perfect. I'm going to spotlight you, Gary. The best thing that we all loved is for us to be on the spotlight, right?
Can you hear me okay, Melissa?
Yes.
Great. So thank you so much for inviting me today. My name is Perry Gee. I'm the nurse scientist at Intermountain Health. Some of you may not even realize we have a nurse scientist, and in my role, I'm supposed to be promoting research and evidence-based practice really across the system. I've only been here for about 5 or 6 years. Love my work. And part of my work is understanding the science in everything that we do. And several years ago, I was exposed to the science of compassion. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is the science of compassion. And I want to tell you about how understanding that science has really helped me to become a more compassionate person. Keep in mind that compassion is the concept of having empathy, really knowing how other people feel, and then wanting to do something about it. And I think that is most of us who work in healthcare. We want to help others. We're here to serve others. And I always thought I was pretty good at compassion. I've been in healthcare for over 40 years. Most of that time, many of those years were as a clinical nurse at the bedside. And I felt like, gosh, I have plenty of compassion. And really, I have enough. And really, that was not true. And my journey really didn't happen overnight. This all takes a little bit of work and continuous practice, but I want to tell you, it's like the easiest work you can do. And so I'll tell you a few more things about that. As I studied the science of compassion, I realized that science tells us not that we can measure compassion. So I could measure compassion in all of you using standard and validated instruments that we've been using for years. There are thousands of studies in the field of compassion. I wasn't aware of that. I was pretty skeptical when people told me you can become more compassionate. You can build your skills in compassion. I didn't realize that. And so as I immersed myself into the literature, I realized, wow, that is true. There is science behind this. And for somebody like me, I always need to see the evidence before I move forward with something. I saw the evidence in compassion science. I had the opportunity to study with the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education at Stanford, and their team working out of Stanford Medicine still focuses today on compassion. So I'd encourage you, if you'd like to learn more about that, they have a lot of great resources at their website. There are 3 flows of compassion, right? The compassion that we give to others, we're all super good at that. That's what got us here. The compassion that we receive from others, and I'm not very good at that, although I'm getting better. And let me just tell you what that compassion looks like real briefly, and that is, maybe I had a rough experience and a friend comes up to me or a coworker and says, "Hey Perry, how you doing? Are you okay?" And I say, "I'm fine," when I'm really not fine, right? And I got into the habit of doing that. I probably started doing that when I was a child, right? I would say I'm fine. I put a fake smile on and say I'm okay. But now that I've learned more about compassion, I realize that I don't have to do that. I can say, you know what, I'm kind of struggling. Maybe we can go for lunch later on and I could talk to you about what happened this morning. Or maybe you could help me find somebody I could talk to, maybe somebody from EAP or a chaplain or a peer supporter, those kinds of things. When people reach out to you with compassion, receive it graciously and go ahead and say, you know what, I'm not fine. So I think that's good. And I want that to be the new normal. What I want to focus on today, though, is the compassion we have for ourselves, the third kind of compassion. And really, when you think about it, think about that self-talk that you might have, right? That inner voice that we have. Sometimes that inner voice is really negative. It tells us that we're terrible, we're not smart, we're stupid. How could I have said that? How could I make these kinds of mistakes? And people tend to beat themselves up internally. And so I want to leave you with 3 tips on how you can kind of help you with that inner voice. And I can tell you, when I learned that I could control my inner voice in my head, and some of you may already knew that, but I didn't know it. When I learned that I could control that, it has made me then a more compassionate person to others. And I can stop that, and I don't have to have that negative thinking inside my head. So I have 100% control over that. Does it still happen? Yes. And so here are the three things that Dr. Kristen Neff from the University of Texas would suggest to us. And she's really one of the leading experts in self-compassion. She says, number one is be kind to yourself. So stop saying those really mean things to yourself. And I don't say those things to myself anymore. I hear myself starting, I notice it, and I stop it. And so learn to recognize, the second tip is learning to recognize that. How do you recognize those negative thoughts? And once you recognize them, then you can stop them immediately. And one of the ways to do that is learning mindfulness. And so if somebody gets compassion skills training like I did, you learn mindfulness in the process. And now I am able to hear that inner voice, notice if it's negative, and I stop it. And then the third thing to remember is you're not alone in this. This is a common human issue. We all struggle with this. We could support each other that way. It's okay for us to struggle and say we're not okay. It's okay for us to go to a friend and say, you know what, I'm having really negative thoughts about myself, or I have imposter syndrome, or whatever those things are, and say, maybe I could talk to you about that, or maybe you suggest somebody that I could talk to. So I still have that inner voice. I still have that devil on my shoulder telling me negative things, but I stop it and I don't listen to it anymore. And now I'm a more compassionate person, and I know all of us would want to be more compassionate. So thank you so much for allowing me to visit with you all today, and I'll turn it back over to you, Melissa.
Harry, what a wonderful thing to share and such a great reminder. I'm doing a mindful eating course right now, and this very topic has come up. Compassionate for ourselves and the inner critic, for sure. I mean, that is definitely such a little devil, like you said, on the shoulder, for sure at times. And the fine piece, I saw that on a sign. I was in the Midwest over the weekend with family, and it's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. It's like, that's not true. So I would love it if you could share the link to the website. I'm very curious and interested, and I'm sure others on the call are as well with Stanford. So
I would be happy to share that, and I have lots of content. If people have questions about this, let me know, and I'll share with you what I know about the science of compassion.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and joining us this morning and sharing your Be Well moment, Perry. Have a great day today, and you're welcome to stay on with me and do a little stretching if you're interested. Thank you. All right, everyone, let's come on to our feet, and we're going to move into a little stretch this morning. Hope you're all doing good. Love that reminder from Harry this morning. All right, let's settle in. So come to your feet with me. Take your feet about shoulder width just for a little extra support. Nice upright posture. Let's start with those shoulders up and down. Just breath in, exhale, relax, release. Two more. Breathe in, shrug it up. Exhale, drop them down. Let's take one up and then roll your shoulders down and back. So soften the shoulders away from the ears. Mine are often up here. So try to really be cognizant of that. Sweep your arms up. Let's take a lateral stretch to the right. Root through the feet and just lean into that side body. Left hand is up, right hand is down. Through the center, let's switch. Woo, the little creaks. All right, back up through the center. Reach through the fingertips, soft gaze up. Exhale, let it go. Please listen to your body as we get moving through a little bit more. Shoulders up, down, and back. Let's reach the hands back. So we're going to take chest expansion. I want you to focus on broadening through the collarbones, bringing the shoulder blades a little closer to one another on the back. Option to interlace fingers if that's accessible and comfortable, or even bring the hands to the small of the back. Choose what feels good. Make sure you're able to breathe. You can even take opposite elbows too, or just even the forearms. Find that space. Take one more breath. And then release, relax. Let's shake that out a little bit. Step your right foot in front. Left one is coming back. So a split stance, perhaps even a little bit of a lunge to drop that right heel towards the floor. Getting some length up the quad into the hip flexor on the right. And we're bending, or on your left, bending that right knee, making sure the knee's not out over the toes. All right, bow and arrow is next. I'm just going to turn here to quickly demo. We're just going to row that right arm back. You can even just stay here, or you can open it up. Your choice. Do what's feeling good. Just gently row. You can open. If you're opening, make sure your hips are staying forward. This one always feels nice, just to open up, little stretch, a gentle twist. But we're not finding pain or strain. It's comfortable for the body. One more on this right side. And then bring it back. Let's switch our feet. So left foot in front, right one steps back. However it feels good. That wider base is going to add a little extra stability and support. Left arm this time. Bring that left arm. Just start to row back first. And then from here, you can open it up. Little T out with the arm. Small little movement. It doesn't have to be a lot here. Just opening up the limbs. Checking in with your body. Let's do one more. And then bring it back through. Let's bring our feet back underneath our hips and stretch our shoulders for a moment. So relax there. Bring the right arm across the front of the chest. Just stretching out through the top of the shoulder, down through the bicep, tricep, etc. One more breath. And then let's switch sides. Draw that left arm across the front, nice little gentle hug to the forearm or the bicep. Just make sure you're avoiding the elbow joint directly here. Smile. I love the compassion right now. It must be like in the air, something to really tune into, that inner critic specifically. So such a nice reminder. All right, we're going to work into the lower half here. Shoulder width with the feet or even a little wider, just some hip circles to start. Drop to the left. Bring it forward, right side, all the way back and around. Take a couple more. Working out any creaks, any tightness here. Little hip focus. So shift back and then over to the right, forward. Let's do two more. And back through the center. Continuing there, if you need to, use your desk or a chair for support. We're going to open up internally and rotate externally on this right side. Just juicing up that hip a little bit. Add a little bit of circling here if that feels good to you. And then we'll move into a figure four next. So on this right side before we rinse and repeat on the left. Soft bend on that left leg. Bring the right ankle to the top of the thigh and just ease your hips back. This is where a little extra support from the chair or desk might be helpful. Dorsiflex the toes towards the shin. And we're just feeling that in the right outer hip pocket. Again, no pain or strain, never forcing anything that's not feeling great to your body today. Take another breath. And then let's release out of that to switch sides. So feet back on the floor, internally and externally rotate on this left side. Add that chair or desk if you need it for support. Little circles. However it's working and feeling good, just loosening up here on that left outer hip. All right, back to that figure four. Right foot is down, left ankle on top of the right quad. One side might feel a little tighter than the other. Just notice, be aware of that. Flex your toes and take some breaths. Most importantly, take that longer, deeper breath with our stretches. Opportunity to pause, to slow down for a moment. All right, another inhale and exhale here. Feeling the legs. Back up nice and tall. Too much in the seat traveling. All right, take your feet wide. Let's do a lateral lunge next. Slight turn out of the toes. Shift over. Let's start on that left side. So hips come back rather than that knee out over the toes. Getting some length in that inner thigh on the right side. And breathe. Back through the center. Let's pause in the middle just for a moment. Toes are forward and just give me a slight hinge. You can bring your hands to the top of your thighs, even into the chair or the desk. Belly is pulling in just to protect the back. The back is long. Feeling a little release through the back of the legs. And hinge back up nice and tall. And then let's shift over to the right side. So bend the right knee into that lateral lunge, nice and gentle. One more breath. And let's bring it back up nice and tall. So bring your feet back under your hips, a little more length through the back of the hamstring and calf muscle. Right leg lengthens. We're placing the heel down, flexing the right toes, bend into your left knee, soft micro bend on the right, and just shift back. The more the toes dorsiflex towards that shin, you'll feel that into your calf muscle a little bit more. So good. Let's switch our legs. Left heel down, flex your toes, hip shift back. I think we're just about at time. Take another breath, flex those toes. We could stretch. I'll be doing chair yoga though at 10 too, if you want to continue a little stretching. All right, back up nice and tall. Sweep your arms up. Stand up so tall. Reach through the fingertips. Goal post the arms. Open your chest. We're going to end with a hug, a little self-love, a little compassion for ourselves. So give yourself a nice big hug. Hands on the back, chin to the chest. A nice I love me squeeze. Feel your breath expand on your back. And great big exhale. Let it go. One more inhale and exhale right here. Breathe in. And let it go. Open the arms out to a T. Just find some space there. One more time to take the hands up and then let it go with your exhale out. All right, everyone. That is our stretch with the leader this morning. Thanks so much.